What's going on, guys? YouTube Live on the Suits channel.
Woo-hoo.
And great to have you guys with us. We've got Robbie Wheaton from Wheaton Arms.
Hey, guys.
Gunsmith for over 20 years, owns WheatonArms.com. Great Glock aftermarket parts. We've got a few things we will show you that is new. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm looking at them. And also does custom gun work. And we have Sarah Mack over here monitoring questions. We're going to be taking a few questions. They're going to be specific to what we're talking about. And so also today's episode is sponsored by USCCA. Guys, if you don't have some kind of legal protection and you carry a firearm, check out USCCA. And not only legal protection, which that's just included in the membership, but you also get training, reciprocity maps. You get a great magazine that's full of really cool, a really well done magazine. So it's just really great.
Well, it's a great resource if you travel a lot. You know, to be able to refer to that, to see how you need to carry, what the specific laws are for each state, where you can carry, what states you can't carry. It's just a tremendous resource for people that travel.
Right. And Robbie has been an expert witness in a number of cases, shooting cases, and he can tell you right now that civil court is probably almost worse than the legal system. So, or the criminal court. So just USCCA, I've been a member for over 4 years and should have done it way before. So we really do appreciate those guys. Okay. The big elephant in the room. And obviously I didn't even want to really talk about this, but it's something we need to talk about.
I've been trying to lose weight.
Once Robbie leaves, we can go and talk about this. Obviously we're all aware of Biden's gun control initiatives and his press conference. And of course, wanting to go ahead and get some action going. Now we want to kind of talk about it. Obviously there's just some things thrown out there. So there's nothing concrete, but we do know some of the focus that they're going to spend some time on. First off, of course, is your ghost guns, your 80% lowers. And guys, the thing is one of the things that Biden said, which he said a lot of things that were wrong.
Yeah. Even
the AFT, that was wrong, but that was the least of what he said was wrong. Guys, from the beginning, the founding fathers meant for us to have all arms that were available to a standing army to be available to the militia, which the militia is
the citizens of this country.
It's the citizens. It's
right.
18 and above. And so, for one thing, that's one thing he said. He goes, they haven't always been able to own everything. And from the beginning, that's a bunch of bull crap. Yes, you could. You could own cannon. In fact, that's what in the militia, even under the British rule, the colonists were able to have cannon, powder. They kept it in a magazine. Obviously, they wanted to explode, but they kept their arms there. And that was their big arms. They had their standard personal weapons that they kept with them. So they didn't keep all their arms in this bunker or whatever. This was just for cannon and powder and all this extra,
the extra.
Yeah, the extra, the extra stuff.
You don't keep an ICBM in your garage. You keep it in the silo, right?
Well, yeah, I do. I know. I want to keep it hidden. But, guys, the thing is a free people, we are able to stand for freedom and to keep our freedom.
That's right.
So that was one of the big things that came up. And also, it is perfectly legal for you to build your own firearm in your own home.
Absolutely.
You can't sell it. Because once you sell it, then you start getting into regulations.
You can't build it for commerce. You can build it for personal use, but not for commerce.
Right.
And that's been legal for
the
decades.
Beginning.
Yes, exactly. Anyone can build their own firearm at home. Be that one of these kit muzzle loaders that you buy that uses black powder, flint, percussion, whatever. You can build those at home, all the way up through like your AR-15s and Glock pistols. All of those you can build at home perfectly legally, and that hasn't changed ever.
Right.
You've always been able to build your own firearm.
Right.
Now, just because the technology has advanced to make things easier for someone to build their own firearm at home without, having to have a lathe and a mill and the things like that you would used to have to use to build a firearm, it still doesn't negate the fact that anyone can build their own firearm at home perfectly legally.
Right. Right. The thing is, we're not all machinists.
Yep.
We're not all skilled laborers. That doesn't take away our ability and our right to be able to defend ourselves. And, and the thing is, guys, it is not a right given to us by the founding fathers. It wasn't a right given to us by our government. This is an inalienable right. This is a right that it's a basic human right. Self-defense is not the Second Amendment.
No.
Self-defense is a basic human right. And any country that would restrict people from being able to defend themselves is morally wrong. Period. It's morally wrong. Now, so here in the U.S. with the Second Amendment, it just states the obvious right that the people should be able to defend themselves. That's right. And it's a basic human right. And so it just reiterates a basic human right. And so, but thank God the founding fathers put that in there because it gives us legal,
a legal leg to stand on.
Yes, it gives us the legal leg, not just it's my basic human right. And so that is the big thing, guys, is now, of course, these are the executive actions that he's planning on taking. But one of the most dangerous to me is the new nominee for the ATF. And guys, you need to be, and I'll say this. Let me just go ahead and say it. I'll say this to you guys, and I'll say you need to be in touch with your congressmen. You need to be in touch with your senators. You need to get on, GOA, Second Amendment Foundation, NRA, whoever. You need to get on those and support them. And most of you won't. Listen, guys, it's crunch time. We have got to get involved in our government. Now, one thing that's happened, and this is happening right now in South Carolina, there's a bill. And if you're in South Carolina, guys, call your senators in your house. The House has already passed the House. There is the constitutional carry bill. That's now, right. And they've been going all over the country. I think 19 states now have constitutional carry.
Tennessee approved just a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Yep. And I think that may be number 20.
Yep.
But anyway, around 19, 20 states. That's almost half the country. One thing, though, that South Carolina has done, which I'm really hoping that this goes through, is they have a state militia. And what that means is that everyone from 17 and above, I believe it's actually 17 and above, is part of the state militia, and that they can own any firearm that they could own previously in 2020. So, the thing is, there are a lot of states that are starting to come out and go, oh, no, So listen, guys, I know a lot of you guys live in states that just aren't going to do that. There are states that are fairly on the left side, but we've got to have those protections where we can. And so it's really great to see this movement. I think 6 governors, the last I heard about, there were 6 that were known that actually contacted Biden and rebuked him for the what he said and infringing on our Second Amendment. And guys, we know that this is a play to get our eyes off of the border and the mess that's going on down there. But we've got to, guys, honestly, what's going on the border is more of a threat to your Second Amendment. I want you to listen. And more of a threat to your economic future than even him taking away the Second Amendment, which he's not going to take away the Second Amendment, but he's going to try to neuter it. And we've got to stop him. We've got to stop him. I mean, it's already been curtailed and neutered and everything else, but we're getting to the point now, guys, because we look and see what governments have done in the past, and when they restrict firearms, sooner or later, a tyrannical government comes into play. And it becomes, oh, for your safety, oh, for your safety, oh, for your safety. And then before long, we find ourselves in the Warsaw Ghetto because we disagree. And we can see that it's happened all over the world. So very important.
I take my safety very personally.
Right.
And I take my ability and my right to be able to defend myself and my family and my friends and complete strangers, if need be, very personally.
Right.
And I will not give up my rights to be able to defend myself and defend my friends and defend my family and defend strangers if need be. For anyone.
Well, the thing is, like in New York, many of you saw the video where this Asian woman was walking down the street. She was minding her own business. She was a little bit elderly, out middle age at least. She's going down the street. She's a tiny woman. This big dude who's about 6'4", about Robbie size, comes up. He looked like a freaking Hulk. And he kicks her in the stomach, and then he pounds her into the pavement. But this is that's horrible. But what's just as immoral are those men that were standing in the hotel that watched it happen, and then the manager that was part of the security went up and closed the door and left that woman laying out there. That is pathetic. Now, this is the thing about guns and this thing about firearms. Firearms particularly, even more than knives, sticks, whatever else. That Asian woman, if she would have had a firearm, which she was not able to have in New York City, she could have at least defended herself against this huge guy who could definitely take her without any problem. And so what a firearm does, it's an equalizer. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to make it out, but it gives you a fighting freaking chance. And when they try to take firearms, then that's what's going to happen. You're not going to have a chance against bigger people. Just, you see Robbie here. I mean, he doesn't have a chance. But get my point, guys. We have got to do it for your children, for your grandchildren. And the problem is, once they start taking the guns, the criminals are not going to adhere to the law.
No. Well, and that's the thing. They're like with they're pushing this whole 80% firearm thing. We've got to ban that. We've got to stop that. They're being used all over the country to commit crimes. Punish the criminals. I mean, it's that simple.
Right.
If someone uses a firearm to commit a violent crime, punish that person accordingly. A legal firearm owner, a legal gun owner, yourself, myself, millions of you out there. We buy firearms, we sell firearms, we build personal firearms for ourselves. These 80% firearms, we use them responsibly every day. We're not going out committing crimes with them. 10% of the country commits 90% of the crime. Those 10% need to be punished accordingly for committing these violent crimes, not punish the American public, the legal, honest citizens of the American public that are using these firearms in a legal manner.
That's right. Because what happens is we give up our rights.
That's right.
The criminals who aren't obeying the law anyway come right in, and they're going to do whatever.
It's going to have zero impact on the criminals because they're like, I'm already breaking the law. What's the difference?
Well, it's actually going to help them.
Absolutely.
They don't have to worry about breaking into your home and you defending yourself. So the big thing is, guys, is we have got to fight this. And listen, I was watching in fact, I'm going to do a video on this. I was watching my pug the other day. We have a pug, and he's, when I first saw pugs, they're just little cute, fat little, critters that sit there, and they look real cute. They're super expensive.
Like a catfish with legs.
Yeah, just sit there. Well, let me tell you this. If you've never been around a pug, they are wild. They are crazy. And Felix is like, whoa! We used to call him parkour. And he's like jumping on the cart, all this. He's just crazy. One thing, I had a toy the other day that he loves toys. He loves to play. And so I took that toy and I had it and I got it from him and I was doing this. He was running around crazy trying to get to that toy. He was jumping with everything he had. He was focused on that toy until we get focused on protecting the Second Amendment like that. If we're too lazy and we get back, hey guys, I'm part of it. I understand. You get back and you're like, yeah, well, somebody's going to call. I guess, we'll have people out there get fired up and call. And they don't do anything. Guys, we have got to get that hungry for freedom or we're going to lose it because the other side is that hungry to take away our rights. I mean, they are. They're that hungry to take away our rights. And so we've got to be able to defend. Okay. Do we have a few questions? I'm going to let Sarah Mac I've thrown it to her. We're going to give her a couple of seconds. Let her look through it. But if you have some questions, it's great. But guys, it is just that important. Okay. Let's take a break real quick and then we'll see if we have some questions. Let's talk about this. Speaking of self-defense.
Yeah. Self-defense.
And Glocks.
Right?
Show us what you got, Robbie.
Yeah. So
this is cool.
You guys and girls have been asking forever and ever for us to release our triggers in copper. Well, we have finally almost finished them up. They're at coating right now. They'll be back one day this week. But got one of our little samples here. You can kind of see it there. So the Wheaton Arms Elite Pro trigger in copper.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to go. And guys, Robbie doesn't. Robbie's a friend of mine, but I'm not going to promote this if it isn't true. This is just the flat face trigger in itself is fantastic. Yep. It's the best trigger on the market. It really is. And he can't keep them in stock. I mean, if you find them on there and you kind of want one, you might want to go ahead and pull the trigger on it. Literally.
Literally. And so if you go to wheatonarms.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a sign up for our newsletter there. You sign up for a newsletter. The day before these release, we're going to be sending out a newsletter to let everyone know that they're going to be released. Everyone that signed up for the newsletter is also going to get a coupon code to save you some money as well as get some extra stuff along with your trigger. and you'll get to order a day early before they actually go on the website.
And that's at wheatonarms.com.
That'll be on wheatonarms.com at the bottom of the page to sign up for the newsletter for that.
I can't help it. I got to show it. And then, of course, you got to have a barrel to go with it.
Got to have the copper barrel to match the trigger.
These barrels are fantastic. And, of course, he does a number of other colors. You can get the trigger in black if you want it. But if you really like that copper and it really looks good.
Yep.
And does also conversion barrels. Does a number. You can go to wheatonarms.com and check all those out. I don't think we can't put a link down below, but it is at wheatonarms.com.
Yep. Okay. And then last but least, this is our new color that we're just releasing for our barrels. See if you can see that.
Back a little bit. That's better.
Better? All right.
And while he's showing that, I can show this one on focus.
Yep. So these are our new PVD. TIALN is actually the color that it's called, but it's like a dark gray polished finish on the barrels.
Good.
So we're replacing our black barrels with this dark gray. We used to do this color probably 5 or 6 years ago and had a great response to it. Well, we ended up switching that color out to our black barrels, and the black barrels have done well, but we still have people all the time that call us. They're like, hey, how about those gray barrels that you used to make? Can you do those again?
Yeah, they're nice.
We're bringing them back. We're bringing the gray barrels back. We've got some 17s up on the website now. The 19s and 43s, I believe, will be back up on the website toward the end of this week as well. So, and those will be in our newsletter too.
Yeah, so just go to wheatonarms.com. Again, guys, it's a great resource. And if you have a Glock, if you don't have a Glock, well, then you can get custom work done. Yes, Sarah Mac.
Keith Ray asks, is there a legal strategy to gut the executive orders that Biden will be signing?
Well, if they are against, see, here's the thing, executive actions, and this is actually called an executive action. There are executive orders where he can sign things, but executive action means he can like send the ATF and strengthen them. And under the law, under the current law, he can push those things that are not being pushed already. But unfortunately, with a lot of executive orders, in fact, Obama did a couple that got booted out because the judge, when it was brought to court, was able to say, no, this is not constitutional. And so that is a definite thing that can happen, just like with the bump stocks. I mean, we're seeing some backlash now because they're saying, no, this is still legal in certain districts. And so hopefully we can get that moving. The problem is, do we have judges that have the kahunas to be able to really do justice?
Well, and the bigger problem is all of the people that own pistols with a brace at this time. If under executive action they make those illegal, it makes all of those people potential felons overnight. So what do you do with your brace? Do you take your brace off? Is it like with the slide fires? It has to be destroyed without compensation. Same thing with your brace. Does your brace have to come off? Your brace have to be destroyed?
I think a lot of times now, and you know this because you're an FFL, you're SOT, you have your class 3, but I know that sometimes if you have a certain gun and then you can have the parts if you didn't have that gun, but if you have the gun or it's readily available, they get kind of squirrely about that kind of stuff.
Right. Because if you own a pistol and you own the brace, the brace is not on the pistol, but you have it. They're both in the same safe or in the same house. It can show intent that you at some point intended on installing that on that pistol. So
now, but here, this is, and I think you'll probably agree, it's not like they're going to go house to house. What they're going to end up doing is you're going to be at the range and you're going to be like, hey, I can shoot my gun. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot. I'm not worried about it. And then you have law enforcement see it or somebody reports you. And then you've got to go through that. Now, here's the thing, guys.
Or if it's used in a crime or, things like
or
that.
A robbery.
It'll be another charge that's tacked on to your other list of charges.
Right. So, the thing is, we don't really know. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they haven't really said. Again, like Robbie said, with the slide fires and with the bump stocks, they said you got to destroy them. Mm-hmm. But with this, we'll have to find out.
Moto J81 says Biden won't be coming to anyone's anything. Who do you think is going to kick down your door? It'll be an order following thug with a badge. Yeah.
Now that's where coming in with local law enforcement can stop that. Now, obviously, if your district loves the ATF and they support gun control, then that's going to definitely be a problem because they can actually help enforce it. But like where we live in this area, very Second Amendment friendly. The sheriffs are very Second Amendment friendly, all in this area. But that's just us. That's not everywhere.
That's right. And that's going to be one of the interesting things to watch and see how this plays out as well, is on the state level.
Right.
If the ATF says, oh, you can't have braces anymore on your pistols, well, there's a lot of people in elected offices that have pistols with arm braces on.
Right.
A lot of them.
Right.
Okay. They're not going to want to give those up either. This is on a state level or federal level that own these firearms. I think what we may end up seeing is on a state level, the state says, no, they're good in our state.
Right.
You can have that here. Now, that you still may not be able to travel out of state with it, but I think within the state, you're going to see a lot of pushback from the representatives of that state, supporting the residents and supporting the people of the state to be able to maintain their rights and not lose them.
Well, there's a lot of law enforcement guys that have braces.
Absolutely.
A lot of them.
Yep.
I mean, I know personally. But, the thing is, guys, though, if you get caught with one, if they do all this and the ATF, you may get off in the long run, but you may go through a lengthy court process. And so that's something also to consider.
Keith asks, is the Supreme Court currently pro-Constitution enough to actually knock down idiotic anti-2A initiatives?
If they'll hear it, and typically it takes a while, but Thomas Clarence just came out real strong.
Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
The other guy. He just came out really strong on,
you named his evil twin.
Yeah. But, and really some of the others, hopefully we haven't seen anything yet. So
that's the thing. The Supreme Court hasn't taken up a gun control case in several years.
As Heller
was the last one that they've heard. Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see with some of the stuff that's out there right now that's going to be coming before the Supreme Court in the next few months. It's going to be interesting to see if they decide to hear any of these cases, because these are all precedent-setting cases that have long-term effects on our rights.
Right.
So, we have to hope and pray that they are very pro-constitutional when they do hear these cases, if they hear these cases, that they rule on them based on the verbiage of the Constitution of the United States, and only on the Constitution of the United States, not on any personal feelings or personal beliefs.
Right.
Jason Athy says, Such, what do we say to folks who keep saying we don't need AR-15s and high-capacity magazines?
Just tell them to dial 911 when somebody's kicking their door in.
Well,
because the police will be there, just in time to save them, and we all know better than that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is a lot, especially in more urban areas. That is something that a lot of people associate with, why do you need that much? The fact is, it's not about need. It's not. This is the thing. We have a right for self-defense, but that's not what the Second Amendment's for.
That's right.
It's to defend our freedom in the long term, in the big game. And that was the reason why the Founding Fathers felt it so necessary. Mm-hmm. Honestly, they knew that self-defense was a basic human right.
Yep.
But they put that in there so that this couldn't happen. The thing is whatever the federal government, my law enforcement, whatever they have, I should be able to have, because we should be able, have the ability that if it gets out of hand, that we can resist and we can defend our freedoms. So, that's the whole letter of the law. That's the reason why this was laid out. And so it's not about going deer hunting. In fact, it has nothing to do with hunting. No. Nothing. It doesn't. In fact, it only has something to do with self-defense, whether it's home or where we're standing up, or whether we're worried about some invasion of some sort, which we really never have had to worry about. But that was a great possibility during the Revolution.
Yep.
So, it's not about need. But it could be. So the thing is again, the Second Amendment is not necessarily only limited to your personal self-defense. It's limited to defending your freedom.
Keith asks, why is there a close time correlation between gun control initiatives and drastic increases in mass shooting and school shooting events as reported in the media?
Yeah, I know. These coincidences are really weird.
Well, here's the thing. There's always shootings throughout our country. There's 50 states in this country, and there's always shootings every day. All right. The thing that you don't see in most cases are these shootings being perpetuated by the national media, unless they're pushing an agenda, which is what we're seeing now. Anytime you see someone get shot, maybe if two people get shot, more than one person, if two people get shot, it's considered a mass shooting. All right. So anything over one is considered a mass shooting by the media and by statistical reviews. If you look at any of the statistics on mass shootings are anything more than one person. So what you're starting to see is the national media really pushing this mass shooting thing on a regular basis. So if two people get shot, two people get killed, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. But was it a domestic issue? There's lots of behind the scenes factors for what caused that shooting. But what's being pushed by the media, the liberal media, is that these are all mass shootings, and they're all being perpetuated by firearms.
And gun control needs to be. We need to
got
keep
to
the
have
community
gun
safe.
control. That's right.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of a focus.
Mm-hmm.
DZ Wren says, "Good afternoon. What are your thoughts on the government taxing, regulating, restricting ammunition instead of going after firearms?"
That's an infringement.
Well, and here's the thing: it's already taxed. All right, every round of ammunition that's produced, every firearm that's produced for commerce has an 11% federal excise tax on that firearm when it's produced. So we build a firearm, we sell firearms. That firearm has an 11% sales tax associated to the cost of that firearm.
Right.
So, and that's one of the reasons why the cost of your firearms and the cost of your ammunition is higher, is because, you got the manufactured cost, plus you add 11% on top of that. That comes right off the top.
That's
when
a lot of
you
money.
build that firearm.
And
that's
handguns 13%.
It's
all 11.
It's 11.
It's all
everything.
11%.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why sometimes it's real popular to go to Palmetto State, buy the lower, it's complete,
Mm-hmm.
and then buy your upper. You're only paying the 11% on the lower.
That's right.
Or if you just get a stripped lower,
Mm-hmm.
it's only 11%. Maybe what they're so upset about with this ghost gun thing is they can't get their excise tax.
No excise tax. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So,
you think about it. I mean, that's real money.
Yeah.
When you're looking at, if there's hundreds of thousands of these 80% firearms being produced or 80% parts being produced, let's say there's 100,000 of them that are produced every year at $200 a piece. Well, there should be 11%. If it's a serialized part, that'd be 11% tacked onto that.
Right.
So, and that money adds up.
Yes.
Keith asks, "Can Second Amendment sanctuary initiatives legally stand opposite federal gun control legislation?"
Well, sometimes it's just a referendum. Sometimes it's according to how it's laid out. But the big thing you need is your sheriff to be behind it. That is the big thing. Here's the thing. Federal agents cannot operate in your county without approval of the sheriff's department.
Well, I'll give you a prime example of it. Look at all of the states that have legalized marijuana. Marijuana is federally illegal. All right. Still to this day, in all 50 states, marijuana is illegal on the federal level. It's considered a Schedule I narcotic. We've got 25, 30 states right now, maybe more, a few less, that have legalized marijuana in some respect, be it recreational or medicinal or some variation of the two. It's legal in those states. People can use it in those states. You can't cross state lines with it, or you can be arrested. But the federal government is not pursuing anyone in any of those states, even though it is still illegal on the federal side.
Right. That's a good point.
Cobain Dorito asks, "What should we do?"
We need to call our congressmen, call our senators, get behind gun rights organizations.
Yep.
Like the Firearms Policy Coalition.
Absolutely.
They go into court for you all the time. They're going to court. GOA is going to court all the time. The Second Amendment Foundation. It is expensive for them to do that. And one thing about it, guys, is we'll go out here and go, "Oh, I got my eye on that, $600 pistol." Another pistol. You've got 20 already. Guys, put some money into protecting your rights just because you have another pistol. And I know how it is, because I'm sitting there going, man, I'm about ready to buy this. And I'm thinking, GOA, well, but I give a lot because I understand the importance of helping those people out. And it's just our responsibility. Here's the thing, guys, those groups are doing things for us,
Mm-hmm.
which we should be doing ourselves. And we still need to be involved. Also get involved with state, local, and, municipality initiatives and get involved in it. Because I'll tell you, the anti-gunners will be all in it because most of them are real busybodies.
And if you don't follow the Firearms Policy Coalition on social media, you absolutely need to check those guys out. They have daily or almost everyday updates about different trial cases that they have coming up on the local, the state, and the federal level, as well as Supreme Court and Court of Appeals cases that they have coming up. And they give you, what the case is, what it's about, how it ends up going, whether they win, whether they lose, what the decision was on the case. But I mean, these guys are on it. They are absolutely on it.
Yeah. What the left is really counting on, what they're really counting on is for you just to be docile and not to get involved. We're all super busy. We're all busy. We all have things going on.
I was just going to say that. We're busy with work. We're busy with family. We're busy with sports, with this, with that. We've got so much going on that, by the end of the day, you're like, maybe tomorrow. I just don't have time today.
Yeah. And so what we're going to end up doing is we're going to lose our rights.
Mm.
Going to the ball game, which is great, or going to whatever, or having a great dinner and hanging out with friends. That's all important to do. But if you lose your rights, then where are you? Mm-hmm. And all those things are going to be hampered. Okay, so let's switch gears. And two, this is another thing.
We're upshifting or downshifting?
Oh, we're upshifting.
Woo-hoo!
No,
that's right.
We can't really upshift.
Bring it on.
But, we're watching what's going on right now in Minneapolis, and, the whole events and the riots and just the destruction of property that just continues. And guys, this is the thing. Before you'd have, and I'll just give an example, Martin Luther King, he would go and they would have these peaceful protests and they would march and they'd do all this stuff and they would give their protest and it made an impact. It did. It made it a needed impact. And, it brought together the civil rights movement and it really did a lot. Okay. It put pressure on those people to do what was morally right.
Yep.
What's happening now is these people are in fear. They're putting the politicians, your representatives in fear of doing the right thing. I don't know all the ins and outs of this thing with George Floyd. I don't know. And I know enough, but I don't know enough to really make a clear judgment. I wasn't there. But those people that are getting ready to judge what's going on are tainted by the fear of these people tearing down burning cities. That is morally wrong in any stretch of the imagination. And the politicians that say, well, they're just getting their frustration out. They need to go to jail. They don't, that is wrong. And they are actually escalating this whole thing. Listen, guys, if it happens here and they get their way, then what are they going to do over here? And then they're going to do it here. Just like in Georgia right now. What's going on?
I was going to say, what's the difference in those people getting their frustration out and those people in Washington, D.C. in January just getting their frustration out?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
they're picking and choosing.
If you're going to call one sedition, then it all gets lumped into it should all get lumped into the same category.
Oh, it should definitely.
If you're hindering federal level office buildings, if you're destroying federal level office buildings or state level office buildings, why isn't it all sedition? I don't understand that. Why the news media is really pushing this whole sedition thing against all of these people that were in Washington, D.C. in January, but yet we've had the same thing going on in multiple states for almost a year now. And there's been arrest, but there's been nothing done on a federal level about these people continuing to destroy state, local, and federal buildings at will. Other than, maybe they get arrested, they get slapped on the hand, but they're not still in jail like all of these people from Washington, D.C. Why are there two different standards here and two different penalties for the same crime?
Well, I'm going to tell you why. And I know why, because I have contacts with the FBI. The FBI has been instructed to put their resources into focusing on the Capitol grounds situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what they're focused on. And they're being pressured to do that. And yet, politically expedient is this. It's not politically expedient for them to go for this direction. And there are certain people that are driving that. The one thing about justice and Lady Justice, Liberty, and holding up the scales.
That's right.
Is she's blind. And unfortunately, this new one has her eye open like this. So she can, we're going to keep one eye covered and we're not the other. Guys, when justice ends in this country or any country, it's going to turn into chaos. And what happens is those that are leading, who are pulling the strings, and it's obviously not Joe Biden, whoever's pulling the strings is manipulating our justice. That is wrong.
That's right.
It's just wrong. And without justice, because here's the thing, guys, just like YouTube keeps they're kind of flowing and they leave this vague comments about what I can put on and what I can't. And then what happens is when they judge, I have no set rule to stand on.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do the right thing, but then I find myself not being able to. Just had a video taken down that was made 8 years ago. And only they've just changed their strike system. They give you a warning first now. That would have been a strike. And so I'm just waiting. If I get 3 strikes, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the people that are trying to do the traditional right and legal things are being hamstrung. And then the people that go out here and just do whatever, it's a real sad state. So this is the point, and this is really what I want to get to. What we talked about originally about your firearms, about your AR-15, about whatever. Guys, we need those firearms because it is a wall of defense against just the chaos that's going on. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and use it. I'm not saying that. But you definitely can help defend your family a lot better with a 30-round magazine or a 100-round magazine like Biden was talking about than you can 10 rounds in your pistol. And that's all you're allowed to have. And that's where we're going. We're going with 10 rounds instead of you lose your AR-15, you lose your 100-round magazine, but now you're down to 10 rounds in a magazine. Guys, I want the best that I can have to defend myself and my family. I want the best. And so if we don't, we're going to lose it. And we've got to stand firm. Okay, what do we got? All right, let's take a break for a minute because we're getting too serious here. What the heck, man? We're not supposed to be that serious. I do have one announcement. We do have Olight coming up with a flash sale. It will be the 15th and 16th coming up. I should have a video there. They are offering their new Baldur Mini, and this is with the light and laser, and they're going to be on sale. And this is with the red laser. So this is new, plus a bunch of other stuff. I've got a bunch of them over here. I'm not going to go through all that. But we do have a number. I'm going to tell you what, guys. Olight, I've been using them for over 8 years. And for my regular EDC, I mean, anytime I pull it out of my pocket, I've got a Warrior Mini here. This thing is excellent. And, in fact, I bought a couple of extras because they're just so cool.
I'll tell you, in the shop, every day in the shop, I use an Olight because I invariably drop something small on the floor and I can't see it. And I'm down there with my flashlight looking for the shadow that it casts because the light's so bright that when the shadow hits it laying on the floor, when the light hits the part on the floor, it'll cast a shadow behind it and make it easier to see.
Right.
But I guarantee you, every day that I'm in the shop, I'm using my Olight. And I've been using the same one for at least 4 years now.
Now, it's funny because I come across doing research or doing video, whatever, watching videos. And some of the guys actually that are pretty credible as far as, tactical and whatever are like, Olight's crap. Olight's junk. We beat the crap out of these things. We have tested them. I run them with the Hummer. We beat them. We throw them in the pool, throw them up 30 feet in the air. I've had other brand lights.
Name brand.
Yeah, I'm not going to name them. I've had other brand lights that have failed miserably.
With a whole lot less stress and torture than what we do.
One, I hit it like 3 times. The thing stopped. And I was like, what? Okay, so anyway, Olight's great stuff. Early on, they did have some issues, quality issues, but they really picked up their game, and man, they're just top
They're
quality.
solid. They are absolutely solid. And that's what's that start? 8 p.m. on the 15th?
8 p.m. on the 15th. I'll have a video that I'm going to be putting out to kind of talk about it.
Yep.
Okay.
There is a link down in the description.
There is. Thank you, Robbie.
You're
There's a
welcome.
link, and there's also a link for Canadian buyers, and it's like a 30 to 40% off. So, I mean, this is the time. If you want a flashlight, you want a good quality flashlight, their sales are just crazy.
They are.
They're crazy.
Absolutely phenomenal.
And so, again, we'll do that. And I know a lot of you guys are fans. We have some people out there that get fired up about it, but I don't really care because it's just great light.
It's a great product.
Yep. All right, guys. Now we've got some time, and I really want to kind of back off. Let's back off. I'm not really sure where I want to go right now, but I just want to kind of give you guys some let's do something. Let's talk about something different. One thing about it, like right now, I'm working on the KP9 Kalashnikov USA. That is a fantastic little 9mm pistol with a brace. And it was funny because when all this came up, I had that review to do, and I was going, oh, great. I've got this brace on here, so I need to go ahead and get this review finished. But it's funny right now, even though we've gone through a big scarcity, there's a lot of really cool firearms that have been made lately.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see, and you guys can pipe in the comments, but I'm starting to see ammo start to kind of come down a little bit here and there, which is surprising with the announcement of Biden. I
haven't necessarily seen the prices come down, but I have seen a little more availability lately. Like I got an email this morning from an ammunition manufacturer. They had pretty much everything 9mm and 5.56 in stock. But the prices were like $40, $45 for 50 rounds of 9mm. So like, what's it work out to be $900 or so per 1,000 for 9mm. So the prices are still high, but they had plenty of inventory in stock. So
a lot of European countries are sending in ammo. Remington just got back online.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
They did. In fact, somebody saw some Remington in a store the other day. So we're starting to see more ammo come in. Listen, this is my thing about ammo. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, some of it's stupid. Some of it is coming directly from the ammo companies, and it's high. I don't get that.
Well, our prices from a distribution level, our prices have went up 15 to 20% from ammunition manufacturers just this year.
Right. Yeah. And so, I'm not really sure why, but listen, this is the thing, guys. I'm not telling you to go out and buy 1,000 rounds of ammo. If you don't, but here's the thing. If you don't have sufficient ammo, and we've talked about this in the past, but I think this is something that bears repeating. If you don't have sufficient ammo, I definitely recommend making an investment. Yes, it's higher, but here's the thing. Going out and buying 200-300 rounds and going, you know what? This is my stupid tax for not buying it before when the prices were lower. And having at least sufficient ammo for you to be able to defend yourself and defend your family.
That's right.
You don't have to go out and stockpile a ton of ammo. But definitely getting in there. Now, here's the thing. There is a bill in the House right now that is going to restrict ammo online sales. And in fact, if you have 1,000 rounds, and I wish I don't have the number. I wish I did, but we'll get the number down. But it'll restrict online sales. And if you buy over 1,000 rounds, you're going to have to go on a list. This kind of stuff's coming. Now, the reason why I'm even mentioning that is if that starts to really gain traction, you're going to see ammo disappear completely. Yeah. Because people are going to go nuts.
No, what you're going to see are companies that start selling ammunition in 999 round boxes. That's exactly what you're going to see.
I think it's over 1,000 rounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will. I mean, that's what I would do. I'd go in there and I'd say, okay, give me 900 and give me enough boxes to make 990 rounds or whatever, 50 rounds. So, there are some things like that. But here's the thing, guys, we have got to get involved.
We've got to unite.
We've got to get involved.
That's the big thing. There's so much division in the Second Amendment community, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're this, whether you're that, your different political views, different socioeconomic views, whatever. But if you support the Second Amendment, I don't care if that's the only thing that we all have in common. We need to rally behind that and use that as a tool to unite, to help support the Second Amendment and make sure that we don't lose our Second Amendment.
You're right. We did a video last week on Sensible Prepper, and it was about brother versus brother. And one of the things that I did when I posted a Tucker Carlson, he was blasting what's coming up in Biden for imposing any kind of restrictions on the Second Amendment. It was a great video, whether you like Tucker or not. Because obviously there were some people that didn't like him. Because when I put the post up, there were these people came in and just got really ugly about it. And I'm like, he's a fearmonger. He's this, he's that. And I'm thinking, wow, here's someone that supports the Second Amendment. I may not even like him, but he's supporting the Second Amendment.
That's right.
Phil Robertson did something, and I posted that on Facebook, and he was talking about how Christians, this is in the Bible about self-defense, and he was doing it. And people got on there and they were like, God, there's no God, and blah, 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 blah. And I thought, How pathetic that we've gotten so divisive
Yep.
that we can't join under one banner, and that's
right.
the Second Amendment. The thing is, guys, is this country is so diverse with so many different people, so many different races, religions, different cultures, different groups, that there's no cohesion if we don't have the Constitution.
Yep.
And the Constitution is what binds us together. And when we start tearing away at the Constitution, we're tearing away at the unity and the freedoms that we have here in this country. You think about it. If you just want to pass some plain laws or whatever, law is not it. It's focusing and coming together and saying, this is our mission statement. This is what we believe in. This is why we come together, because we hold dear to these things and to freedom and to liberty. But if you take away that and then you just have laws, there's nothing to bring us together.
Oh, we've got tens of thousands of laws on the books already.
Just for gun control.
Just gun control, firearm laws, laws against robbery, laws against murder, laws against violent crimes against others. There's laws on the books for all of that already. But the thing about it is, if someone has in their mind that they're going to go out and commit a violent crime, they don't care about the law.
No.
Because they've already made up their mind that they're going to break that. What matters at that point is, does the person that is going to have the violent crime committed against them, are they going to have the ability to be able to defend themselves? Are they going to have the ability to be able to protect their life from this crazed person that's trying to take theirs?
Right. So let's, I just thought about something I think we can shift to, because, I think we've been there enough, because we can go on this all day. But, if you're not going to be active, then it doesn't matter. So you need to be active. One thing, though, that I just want to talk about this. There's a lot of red dot sights out there. There's a lot of pistols that are coming out with red dot. And a lot of, in fact, it was funny. Somebody was like, dude, you're going to do another red dot sight on a gun? Yeah. We've done the Rex Delta, which is a great little gun, guys. That's a hidden gem right there. The Taurus Toro series, even the G3, that's a very budget friendly, but it's still an excellent little firearm. Walther's coming out with their PDP, which that gun is made for being able to get that red dot right on focus.
Well, I tell you, that the new Taurus, the little 22 that you've got. What's
the TX22?
Yes.
Yeah, those are great little guns.
It's probably the best shooting ugly gun that I've ever shot.
It is ugly. But it's 17 rounds.
It is. It's 17 rounds. The red dot mount, it mounts the sight right over the center line of the bore, or over the center line of the center of gravity of the firearm. So it's very neutral. So when the gun shoots, the dot stays in the lens. You don't lose the dot. It just kind of oscillates and vibrates back and forth.
Right.
It's a great setup. It's the way we set up open guns for competition forever, with the red dot over the center of gravity of the firearm. And that one, the red dot's set up the same way.
Right.
So it draws good, it points good, it indexes good. It's super fast to shoot, and that little gun is reliable and accurate. I was very impressed with how accurate it was.
And I have not always been impressed with Taurus, but Taurus has really stepped up their game.
Their quality in the last couple of years has really, really turned around.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with it. And there is a new one coming out. I'll just put it that way. There's something, I'm in the NDA, so I can't really say what it is, but it's going to be impressive. I can just tell you right now. But,
talking about red dots, though, I tell you the red dot that has impressed me the most recently is the new one from Holosun with the chevron reticle.
Oh, yeah, the 507C.
Yep. It's got the chevron reticle in it, and then it's got this big circle around the chevron, right? And you look at it, when you first hold it up and you look at it, you're like, wow, good Lord, that circle is huge. Thing. I just don't see the benefit of that. But when you put it on a pistol and you present the pistol, you point the pistol, the circle is just big enough to where if you're a little high with your sight, you see the bottom of the circle. And you're like, oh, I just need to push it down.
Right.
Or if I'm a little right, you see the circle on the left side. You're like, oh, I just need to steer it back this way.
Right.
It's a steering wheel for your red dot sight.
That's right.
That helps to guide you to the reticle in the sight a lot faster. The worst thing in the world for guys, and any of you out there that have started using a red dot, your first experience with it, you draw out of your holster, you present it, and you're like, where's my dot? Where's my dot? Right? You've all been there. If you shot a red dot before in a handgun, you know what I'm talking about. You're like, hey, where's the dot? With that one, with the 507C, with that chevron reticle and that big circle, when it comes out of the holster, no matter where it's at, you're going to see a part of that circle. If you don't see the reticle right in the center, you're going to see a part of that circle that's going to help you steer that sight. It is just, it's so
it's ingenious.
fast and intuitive. It really is.
It really is. And the thing too is when you're picking up, and guys, if you're wanting to get into red dot, you definitely need to practice. You don't need to just put one on your gun, go out and shoot a few rounds, because just like Robbie was saying, you've got to find that dot. One of the things that you tend to do is when you pull it out, you tend to start looking for the dot, when typically if you'll just present it like you're looking through your sights like you normally would, typically the dot that's right there. One thing too is, and this was something they've done some studies with special forces, they said when they pull it up, if they tighten their pinky, it brings it naturally into the right position. And that's one of the things about the PDP that was designed to kind of do that, to make your hand in the right position to where that dot comes up. It's really funny. I did a review on it was imported by EAA, the Gearson MC9. It's a brand new gun. I just put up a link on Facebook for our Get Zone review. And it has the sight with fiber optic sight built into the sight. So when you lift it up, you're looking through the sight and you're looking at your sights as you're looking at the dot. It's actually pretty cool.
It is. Yeah, it's got a rear sight notch milled into the back of the red dot with fiber optic inserts inserted in the back of the red dot sight itself. So you see the fiber optics, which I've used for a long 20-something years on all of my pistols. I'm a big proponent of fiber optic sights, front sights and rear. But you've got those fiber optics on the rear, you got the fiber optic on the front, and then you've got the dot. And when the gun comes up, everything lines up perfectly, dude.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a great design.
Yeah, because you're not co-witnessing, you are on it.
That's right.
And it was funny because I took it out, and when I first shot it, it was already lined up perfectly with the dot. And then when I shot my group, it was like this one jagged hole. But what was really cool about it is when I took it and I was doing some transitions, and I thought, I'm going to look through just the sights. And so I did my transitions, just not thinking about the dot, but looking at the sights. And then I did the same thing with the dot. It was unbelievable how fast it was.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, I already knew that it was quicker. I already knew it was more accurate. But actually seeing it that way really made an impact. So, it's one of those things where you need to get it. I'll tell you another red dot that's come up new that I'm really impressed with is the Springfield Armory. Well, it's not Springfield Armory, but it's Hex Optics. They're on some of their new Springfield Armory firearms.
Okay.
The Hex Optics did that on the new Hellcat that comes with it. It comes with the Wasp, I think. Yeah, and then the Dragonfly came on the AR-15, the Springfield Armory Victor and St. Victor. And I'll tell you, man, that sight it's a really rugged sight.
I'll have to play with that one. I haven't seen
Yeah, we need to get that one out. I know, because you took a break from the range there for a little while.
Well,
so
sometimes life and work gets in the way of my fun and enjoyment.
Yeah, it does. But guys, here's the thing. Once all this kind of stuff, and hopefully it will, and hopefully they won't put a tax on ammo. There's a lot of hopefuls here, unfortunately. But I want to encourage you that if ammo prices even come down to a decent level, is to stock up now. Get your ammunition, put it back. It's funny. Right after during Sandy Hook. In fact, he was selling 5.56. He had 10s of it. He was at a gun show. It was that Saturday, and it was right after it happened. I grabbed 1,000, bought 1,000 rounds from him right away, put it aside, and then I went and bought other ammo, and I put it in this one cabinet in my shop. And so the other day, it's a cabinet I don't use a lot because I have a workstation right in front of it, and I just opened that door, and there was a buttload of ammo. And it's funny because I've always done that. Because we have been through this 8 times. You look at the original assault weapons ban
back in '94.
You look at Y2K. You look at Katrina. You look at the World Trade Center. I mean, we can go down the list. There have been time after time where we've had ammo shortages. And guys, when it calms down, if it calms down, I just highly recommend, guys. It's like putting money in the bank, literally.
Well, I love to go to the range. I love to shoot. I love to train. I love to take my family to the range and shoot. And we saw this. We saw this, like you said, over and over and over and over again. And like I put some ammo back, so we would have some if something like this happened again. And it's been nice that if my family wants to go to the range and go and shoot, we can load up, we can go to the range and go and shoot and not have to worry about running out of ammo and not having ammo,
Right.
or dipping into our emergency supply of ammo.
Right.
You know, there's a surplus over here that we have that we can play with, because we, like with food, you know, for earlier last year, the grocery stores the shelves were barren, and people that had stocked up on some food and stuff, they weren't worried. Right. It's kind of the same thing. We had some food. We weren't worried about that. Well, we've got a surplus of ammunition that we can go and play with and train with. So we don't worry about that. We've got the ammunition that we can go to the range and shoot when we want to go and shoot, because we planned ahead.
Right.
So, and that's exactly what Don's talking about here. Yeah. I'm not going to say when everything starts to normalize again, ammunition prices come back down, and you have the opportunity to be able to stock up on some ammo, put some back for a rainy day, and just put your little rainy day fund, put it in some ammo cans, seal it up, throw some desiccant packs in it to keep moisture out of it. It'll keep forever. It doesn't go bad. We're still shooting ammo today from World War I. Okay, the stuff will last.
Yeah,
right?
We do have stuff.
So store it in a dry place, keep moisture out of it, and it will keep forever. And then, the next time there's a rainy day and ammunition dries up, you're like, man, I'm glad that I put some back. Listen to Robbie and Don, got me some ammo.
It's like toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
I sure was glad we had plenty of toilet paper. It made it kind of funny when everybody else is freaking out. All right, guys, we're running down on time. Don't forget, we do have the Olight flash sale coming up. This is the 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till midnight on the 16th. And I'll have a video up for that. Also, guys, check out Wheaton Arms. I'm just going to tell you, if you have a Glock and you don't have one of the flat face triggers, you're missing an experience. And it's just great. It really is. And also in this new copper, but even in their standard. And then, of course, their barrels as well. And this was a threaded barrel, which we didn't actually mention.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyway, go to wheatonarms.com. We really appreciate Robbie for being here. He gives us, a lot of insight in some things that, honestly, I don't have any idea about. And it's really great to have him here. But also, we want to thank USCCA. And guys, more than ever, you need some kind of legal protection. You need to know the facts. You need to know the laws in your state. And USCCA, again, like I say sometimes on video, because I talk about this sometimes, is with USCCA, you have a friend. And after you've been into a self-defense situation where you've had to use a firearm, you need a friend. Yeah. And so you need a friend that knows what's going on. So it's really great to have that, and we really do appreciate them. The link's down below in the description. Also, the link to the flash sale. And unfortunately, we can't put Robbie's link because we'd get booted off YouTube.
We will, but if you go to wheatonarms.com, you're not going to see our copper triggers on there yet. They're going to be released in the next few days. Scroll to the bottom of the page at wheatonarms.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We're going to be sending out a newsletter with a early release coupon code where you can order it a day early before they go up on the website. And you're going to be able to get some extras along with your trigger, as well as save some money.
And hopefully you won't have people blow into your email where you go out of stock, because they will. They do really well. So I'd run over there right now.
Yeah, I tell you, these will be gone probably before they ever go up on the website.
Yeah.
Just from the newsletter, those will disappear. And we've got a few hundred of them that we're finishing up now with the copper. And that's a long awaited color right there. There's a lot of people been waiting for that. It's a perfect match for the barrels.
Yeah.
When you hold them up there side by side, it is a perfect match for the barrels.
Yes. And more.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. But guys, thanks for coming out. And I know it was more of on a really serious note. I hated it. Actually, I was kind of thinking, how can we get around this? But we really need to talk about it. It's one of those things that I hope will inspire you to take action where you can. State, local, federal.
That's
Get
right.
in touch with your representatives. Try to do what you can. I know many of you guys live in places that they're just going to fall on deaf ears, but at least you had your voice, and you do have a voice. That's what the First Amendment's all about. And we've got to be able to speak our mind, period. And so we just really appreciate Sarah Mack over there on the computer, monitoring things and monitoring questions, and setting all this up for us so we could just come in and breeze in and kind of hang out. So hopefully next week we can have just a really relaxed, cool time. But we will be on Sensible Prepper next week. So be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.